high energy job. You take your job with seriousness, and so do I. I was there for till about 1:30, listened to the first 3 panels, and since the morning we've been discussing what B school leaders are doing to be able to build a B school of the future, a post-corona B school. What are we doing to have B schools in the top rankings? And as Dr. Bharat Bhaskar of IIM Ahmedabad explained, that the rankings are structured in a way that even institutes like IIM Ahmedabad and IIM Bangalore and everybody does not do well, because the 3 criteria, one criteria of internationalization of faculty. We are of course even in IMA low on that. The other is of international students. We have enough students here, so we don't need. So they are structured in such a way that they are disadvantageous. And then I heard Dr. Pawan Kumar Singh, Dr. Bhimsen Maitre, Dr. Goyal from IIM Shillong talking about what they have done unique in their colleges, Dr. Sahai. So we know that the Indian B school leaders are thinking about what others are doing well and trying to learn, apart from bringing their unique ideas. We discussed how digital transformation of business schools need to happen. We discussed about new curriculum. We discussed about industry interaction. Here is a panel that represents the industry. We have a CEO, Mr. Salil Kapoor, who does hire from B schools, but as he shared with me, tier 2 IIMs, new IIMs, let's not call them tier 2 IIMs, but new IIMs, Salil. And again, I have known Mr. Kapoor for a long time. Ms. Deepali Naair, she's the group CMO of the CK Birla group. Earlier, just before that, she was with another large group. She was in the financial services business. She was with IBM. So she also does a podcast. She's here in her personal capacity. She does a podcast where she's interviewed a lot of leaders. At last counts 37 CEOs, and we'll talk to her about leadership. And last but not the least, we have Mr. Pradeep Hatgaonkar from Hitachi, who as a CHRO, group CHRO, does hire people. So he has a absolutely first-hand view of what he looks for. So let me start by asking Pradeep first. Pradeep, what are your expectations from B schools recruits when you hire them, and how have they changed post-COVID?
Thank you, Dr. Annurag, for inviting me in such august gathering here, and with I'm paneling my panel, eminent panelist here. This is a good question you asked about what industry looks for the students when they go and hire for the students from the academic institutions. Lot of being said that soft skills, hard skills are definitely are to be looked for. I will not focus on academic point of view, but I will rather focus on students' point of view, because you prepare students. So what kind of students are getting attracted to the industries, that is we have to look into. So the current students, when industry go for there, definitely a student has to have a thorough knowledge of his field. That is very much required, but there is no judgment, or there is no, everybody is excellent. But few points which I would like to make here. The students who is outshining the group, a part of the crowd, somebody who is part of the crowd is never get attracted. So someone getting attracted, he has to be outshining the crowd. So what qualities he should have, and what qualities the education is, you should teach them. The adaptability, very important, because currently the world is VUCA world, everybody is aware. And especially BC, means before COVID and after COVID, the situation is absolutely changed. We can call it that it's BC era. The BC era and now AC era. It's tremendous difference. Everybody must have been noticed about it. So after BC era, uncertainty, VUCA world is being spoken about. Lot of things, lot of uncertainty, lot of problems are getting hired, getting generated. The industries are in tremendous pressure. Industries are tremendous pressure of how to retain.
Just this year, 30,000 people laid off by startups. Some say it's 28,000, but in my view, it's more like 30,000. 30,000, that's a lot. Just to tell you that every year, about 1 crore, 10 lakh graduates come up for jobs.
That's correct.
Only about between 10 to 20,000 get hired. 10 lakhs to 20 lakhs get hired. 90 lakhs are not hired. 90 lakhs are not hired. Your education is, you know those numbers.
right, that's
and
right.
so 30,000 losing jobs in a single year is a substantial number.
Because skill set is changing, the jobs are going, because the skill set is changing, another new set of jobs are getting generated. So you have to be with the time, with the requirement of the industry, and the new skill set are to be taught to the students, so that the students are really ahead, and the job is not at risk.
So Mr. Hatgaonkar, we'll come back to you, but what you're essentially saying is softer skills, which is what we
Which is
talked in the
important.
morning. You talked about resilience. The first thing I ask a question, after getting through the customary questions when I do an interview, how do you deal with uncertainty? Trust me, that's the question anyone who's working with me, I would have asked that question. And you know, I put a lot of, when everything is going well, then all of us will be happy. How do you deal with things when things are not going well? So softer skills of communication, softer skills of teamwork, softer skills of, you know, being able to deal with uncertainty. You use the word resilience. I think softer skills get, you know, students jobs, and now I know why I was among the last people to be placed at MDI. Clearly I have understand it 29 years later, but it's never too late. But coming to you, Ms. Naair, you've interviewed at last count 37 CEOs for your leadership podcast. You recruit from the industry. Give us your opening comments in terms of what kind of expectations you have from B school recruits, especially after post-corona, and are they being met?
I want to propose two new ideas because of the audience sitting over here and because of the question that you've asked. And this is a comment, for the preparation that we're putting into students when they're coming into industry and the industry expectations. So Dr. Batra, apart from, the podcast and my personal, experience of recruiting across many different companies, I've also taught at B schools for the last, 20 years. One of the changes that I've noticed, which has happened in the last 5-6 years, is that you have to prepare students for heterogeneity of jobs. When we passed out back in 1993, marketing jobs were all similar. HR jobs were all similar. Finance jobs were all similar. Investment banking had not even happened in those days. So there was a homogeneity in which you had the 4 streams happening at, MBA schools. Today there's huge heterogeneity. You may be in marketing, but marketing in FMCG is vastly different from marketing in Nykaa, which is a consumer tech company. Okay? And marketing is extremely different and defined differently. And what you're expected to do is very different when you join Amazon versus Netflix versus CK Birla Group. Okay? That heterogeneity is not appreciated by the students today because nobody's spoken to them about it. So the core skill sets and the soft skills in one place, but this is also the answer to the uncertainty bit. The moment they learn that a marketing job is heterogeneous from another marketing job elsewhere, it will also prepare them for the fact that they can't prepare for a lifetime of a jobs. They can only prepare perhaps for their first or the second job. Or that whatever they're being taught at college will need to be perhaps relearn, unlearn within the first 2-3 months at their new job. So my personal expectation and my own observation of people who are coming into my team, fresh from college, is that they need to be retrained. The basic skill sets of reasoning, analytical skills, communication skills, I take it for granted. I'm hoping that the colleges have taught them that. But I don't think, given this heterogeneity, the colleges are perhaps preparing them ready to land running. Now, that is a question that we must put to ourselves.
So, what about the long induction programs, established companies, post-COVID, have they evaporated?
No, they do. They still do. Very much, and which is what I'm saying. It takes 3 months to, get that person into the stream of things. The only unfortunate thing is, Annurag, that some of the startups may not have that runway. A lot of the newer organizations, and I'm not speaking for them, it's my observation from outside, that smaller organizations, consumer tech organizations, startup unicorns, we don't know whether they have the structured programs, ready. But I'm also more importantly talking about the fact that if a person moves from a Nykaa to Unilever, the job and the training is going to be entirely different.
Yeah,
that
there's
is
not an
required.
apple. Very important point you made, and I rarely take notes. I have written it down to write a column about it. Let's go to Mr. Salil Kapoor. Salil, you've recruited a lot of people, both at senior levels, middle levels. I know you joined as the CEO of Hindware, and right now you're restructuring the company, recruiting people. So give a sense of what have you seen post-COVID? What have you seen of the B school recruits, and what are your observations and comments?
Before I jump into this, let me address the 2 points which have come up earlier. What do we look for in the B school recruits, which has been discussed earlier as well? I would like to make it a very simple thing, because simplicity is what really drives. We end up making things more complicated, and that is where the things really get complex and slow. If you look at the simple part, and this was also discussed in the earlier panel, what we really want from somebody who needs to deliver on the job is attitude. If you ask me, the first thing that you need to look for somebody in the job is attitude. Skill comes after that. The communication skill, the adaptability, the hunger, everything will come from that one root, which is attitude. So if you have attitude, that will really.
You mean good attitude? Attitude
Of course, we're talking about good attitude. Yes. The point here is what was discussed in the earlier panel about the mindset. And one of the panelists said that mindset is very difficult to change in 2 years. And another panelist said that why don't we try and do that? It is actually that what is required. We will teach them the skills, because honestly, you can't teach them each and everything that they need to do. And of course, Deepali is adding a very valid point that the things will change very fast. Then how much can you teach? So teach them that attitude, that hunger for lifelong learning and changing and adaptability. That will actually ensure that they go far. So that's the point number one. Second one is, I come from a slightly different school of thought. I think right now, and this might not go very well with the audience, the MBA is actually going to be disrupted badly from somebody from outside. So if you really want to save the MBA, the B schools should disrupt it. The case in point is, there's a growing popularity of co-op schools around the world. Co-op is very different from internship, and you said what happened to the long internships, are they dead? In reality, internships are of no use. 3 months is too short a period. You need the person to do a job. Doing a job means taking the responsibility and being accountable for at least a year to learn something. See, internship, 3-month internship is superficial. Co-op program, 1-year job is immersive, deep, taking responsibility, learning, real learning. There it is just the responsibility of the industry, because you land up there for 3 months. The industry is just entertaining you for first month, that they are looking at you, observing for next 2 months. Here you actually deliver. And when you deliver, you learn, and industry benefits and your school benefits. So there's a huge difference in immersive versus a superficial 3-month program. So I think the MBA, the standard MBA, is up for disruption. Either it will go away. If you want me to train somebody today, I would ask that person to take up a job for 2 years rather than doing MBA. And we'll teach you everything, because you learn the real challenge. Everybody was saying changes happen. But let me tell you, the challenges have remained constant throughout last 40, 50 years. Earlier, something else was getting disrupted. Right now, technology, fast changing environment is disrupting us. But the challenges remain same. Fundamentals of doing business, the importance of finance, the importance of bottom line, the importance of talent, everything remains constant, right? That you will learn when you actually do it, rather than only skimming through it for 3 months. So these are the 2 things that I would add.
Yeah, my column earlier used to be called much below average. MBA, much below average. Yeah, that's what my column was called. No reflection on MDIs. Dr. Singh, I know you don't identify as MDI, but Dr. Sangeeta Bhardwaj does, and Mr. Goel and Dr. Maitre still do. But that's just to pull your leg. You're a tall man, sir. Deepali, you want to make a comment?
I wholeheartedly agree on the point of the attitude. And I used to work for IBM, worked there for 5 years. And I interacted with Ginny Rometty, the erstwhile global chairman, and she said this. She said, I wish before hiring, I could measure the learning quotient of people. The hunger to learn, ability to learn fast, wanting to learn. She says, I wish I could measure. And if I could measure, that is the only measure I would use before hiring people, you know. Because what you need to do in the coming years is learn again and again. So it is said that people who are passing out now will need to go back to school 3 times in their life. Because whatever we are preparing them for today is going to last them only 10 years. The world's going to change so much in terms of the hard skill sets. So therefore, you know, the point that I'm making again is that learning mindset is extremely important.
Can I just, with your permission, I slightly, while I agree, I would slightly modify with your permission. It's not going to be 10 years anymore. We all learn every day. It's going to be every month, every year, because the challenges are changing. Your competition, your landscape, your people, your talent, your overall environment, your economy, everything is changing. Something or the else is changing every day. So if you can't learn every day, if you can't go back to school every day, it's going to be a tough one.
There is a cocktail which is called Back to School in one of the bars. No, that's not. I'm teetotaler, but just saying for fun. Mr. Hatgaonkar, you heard Deepali and Salil make their comment. Do you have any contrarian viewpoint? Do you support their viewpoint?
And I support their viewpoints. Attitude is very, very important. Rather positive attitude. Because nowadays the students, when we find that students are very eager to grasp or achieve something without even having that much of hard work. They want to, the aspiration is so high, but the willingness to work hard is not that way where they want to reach to be. The aspiration is so high and their speed of achieving that is very, very high. So that is very very bad at this moment, because when your foundation is not ready for that,
and
achieving that skill, and they are aspiring such a high standard, they may achieve, some may not achieve, but it is disappointing for some people.
Yeah, in fact, Dr. Vivek Suneja made exactly the same point in a very different, he's the Dean of FMS, he was earlier the Vice Chancellor of a large university. He said that FMS got a very good placements record, but they were still comparing with 3B schools which are higher than them. And he said the students were depressed, right? You said that in the morning. So it supports your, buttresses your point.
Shri S. Ravi, Shri Seturatnam Ravi ji is there. He's our chief guest to give away the award. Please give him a big round of applause.